let's get to another big story that we have been very, very closely following, get to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. A couple of big headlines that we're watching today. Teachers threatening to strike in two cities, in Detroit and in New York City. And then we also had the WHO warning of a resurgence over in Europe. We have Anjalee Khemlani following this story very closely for us, who has more. Anj.
Thanks, Shauna. Yep. So as you mentioned, in Detroit, the teachers union voting, in fact, to strike on school conditions that might be unsafe as we're watching the coronavirus pandemic continue really around the country. New York City also threatening to do so. We've seen some reports of this really in the last couple of weeks as school districts have been struggling with the decision to continue distance learning or get back into schools. And what does that entail cost-wise, testing-wise, et cetera. So right now, Detroit and New York, we saw Chicago achieve distance learning, as did Miami, but some reports about potential strikes in Texas, Arizona, and Florida are all possible still. Meanwhile, in Europe, really looking to why the concern is there, the World Health Organization is in fact saying that Europe could potentially see a larger resurgence. Right now, only about 1,700 cases in Germany in the last 24 hours, as well as Spain with more than 3,700 cases. So very concerning numbers, considering that they have been really low in those areas since April, March, and since then.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we've been pointing to Europe as, I guess, one of the models that we should be looking at here in the U.S. So certainly a story that we need to keep a close eye on. But while we have you, I just want to get your thoughts on the vaccine news that we got out today, specifically in regards to Johnson & Johnson, because from my understanding, they're planning to begin what would be the largest late-stage trial testing of a potential coronavirus vaccine. I believe it's supposed to start next month, but what is the timeline for that? And also just the significance that this is the largest one that we have seen yet.
Correct. So Johnson & Johnson is one of the larger companies that is pursuing a coronavirus vaccine, and they just announced that they will have 60,000 people enrolled, or aiming to have 60,000 people enrolled in their phase 3 trial. And that, as we recall, is the final phase of testing, which is what Moderna and Pfizer and AstraZeneca are already a part of. And so looking at that size, really it looks at cost of enrolling as many people, but they are looking to have a very robust trial. And the number 60,000 is significant because it is double what Moderna and Pfizer are currently at, which is 30,000 globally. And so looking at those numbers is very interesting to see sort of where they're going to get these participants from with such a large target and the cost that will go with it. But definitely will be something to watch to see if they even meet that number, as well as what that means for the data that they will be able to mine from those clinical trials as a result.